Good morning, everybody, from this gray day in Toronto. It's kind of winterish is back, but it's okay because we are resilient Canadians, and it's okay because we know that spring is around the corner. But it's also great because the sun doesn't blast in here, so I can leave the drapes open or the blinds open, and you get to see my beautiful, most amazing orchideas. I love my orchids. I sing to them. I meditate with them very often. So please join me today. Hello, Summer. Hello, Heidi. I'm talking about a topic that, could be a game changer for a lot of people. The notion that you don't have to over-focus on your partner. So many people come into my office for couples therapy, and they think it's sort of a place where they can wholesale just complain about the other person. While, yes, the therapist's office is definitely a place to be able to vent and feel emotionally safe to speak your truth and all these things, I quickly, after a while of allowing the person to vent, bring them around to the notion that, the real job here is going to be one of two things in this case: acceptance, or you change your situation for yourself. Pointing the finger constantly at the other person usually means there's a dynamic in this relationship that is a lot about control, a lot about, so there are legitimate complaining aspects in terms of, complaining about the other person, saying, the other person is selfish, the other person doesn't give me what I need, the other person is this, the other person is that, the other person is, takes, and the other person gives. And that, all that is legitimate, and then they can't separate because either financially it's impossible to separate, or they have children and it becomes a real problem. But I have to say, I really want to address a couple of things on this front, okay? And you folks can pipe in as well, which would be great. But I really want to say a couple things about this. When I see someone is overly focused, nearly obsessed on changing the other person, they are not believing what they are being shown. They are not believing what they are being shown. They are simply in their own experience of what's happening. They're not going, oh, this person keeps showing me that they're not generous with me. This person keeps showing me who they are. They're not even telling you who they are. They're showing you who they are, and you're not believing it. And I want to ask, why are you not believing it? What is that about? Why are you not being one with what is coming at you? And I know it's scary because some people find it very, very scary to go, wow, this is not a healthy situation. I need to relieve myself of this situation. I need to leave this situation. However, people will go in that great song, comfortably numb, and would rather sort of sit in a bit of denial about what's in their life. And I think that when people go comfortably numb, they miss out on really, really, stopping this over focus on the other person. Another dynamic that is very prevalent in this thing of really trying to change the other person is what I call, and I'll do another video about this, but I just want to mention it, parentification, infantilization. Anybody know what that is? Parentification, infantilization. That's where the couple is, one person is constantly the parent and the other person is constantly the child. And they live in those roles. And the one person is parentifying, the child person is parentifying the other person, and the one person is parentifying the child. So there's a parent-child dynamic. And that's not a very good dynamic for marriage, for coupledom, long-term coupledom. In fact, that's a recipe for disaster because there's no sexuality among parents and children, not in healthy situations anyway. So when a couple has gone into that parentification, infantilization model, there is a lot of the parent trying to control the child, change the child, discipline the child, help the child, enable the child, whatever it may be. And that becomes really just not a healthy dynamic at all. And it becomes a marriage that isn't passionate or happy, or people want to be with each other. And I'm telling you, people end up cheating on one another, etc. So that's one dynamic. And the overly focused on the changing the partner piece. The other one is what I mentioned in another video, which you should check out, which is that match made in hell, which is the narcissist and the codependent. So the narcissist, all their needs are the only needs in the room, and they're the only ones allowed to have feelings. Everyone else has no business having feelings, says the narcissist. And so, hi, Joanne. So the codependent goes about the businesses of, taking care of the narcissist, unconditionally loving the narcissist, unconditionally giving them everything they want to avoid a fight, to avoid a problem, to avoid something, that is difficult. Joanne, I'm really great. Thank you so much for asking. And I am happy to see you here. And so that match made in hell is happening here, which is, the narcissist and the codependent. And then that codependent becomes overly focused on the narcissist constantly. Overly focused. And saying, basically, if I could just love them unconditionally enough. They end up in my office saying that. If I could just love them unconditionally enough, they will turn around. And guess what? They don't. Because usually they're narcissists and they don't. And again, I don't want to overuse the word narcissist, but I'm talking about someone who is constantly in the relationship saying that the only needs are mine. And, oh, poor me for you not meeting my needs. I'm a victim. That's very narcissistic. So we really have to, I watch this because I'm a psychotherapist that does a lot of couples therapy. And I watch these dynamics. And so what I really want to say to you is, here's what we want to do. Lean out of your partner and lean into yourself. Lean into yourself. Accept what's happening. And through acceptance, you will learn. You will look at what is happening in your marriage, in your relationship, in whatever it is that you're in your partnership, and you will say to yourself, I accept what's here. And once you accept what's here, then you can start to make decisions. And lean into yourself, lean out of them, and watch what happens. And when you lean into yourself, you start to look at, what do I need? Where am I at in this? Why am I overly focused on this other person? Is it because I'm too afraid to look at myself? Maybe. Or is it just too convenient and easy to constantly look outward and not deal with myself? Maybe. So these are the questions that would have to happen when you are working with someone when you are working with yourself, if you're over-focused on the other person. And it doesn't get better. It's a pattern that grooves into your neural pathways and does not improve. So please, if you're over-focused on trying to change the other person, let me remind you that change is hard even when you want to change. So why would the other person change simply because you keep nagging them to change? Doesn't make sense. Change is hard. People don't change even when they want to change. Lots of effort needs to happen in order for you to change. So why would you overly focus on the other person changing when they themselves don't want to change? Let go. Lean out. Lean into you. Lean into your own being. Lean into your own experiences. This is a fast video, but I feel that if you take this on, if this is something, please share it with people that that might need this, okay? Because they need to understand that the over-focus on the other person is just not healthy. And they probably know it's not healthy, but it's not changing anything is the point. They can't love someone into changing. They can't nag someone into changing. They can't control someone into changing. No, you cannot do any of those things into changing. People change because they choose to change. Their choice, their life. They're in charge of themselves, and you're in charge of yourself. I talk extensively about this in my second book, Connecting, Rewire Your Relationship Culture, where I talk about the parentification, infantilization dynamic, the overfunctioner, underfunctioner dynamic, the narcissist and the codependent dynamic. And these are all talked about in here. And you can hop over to my website at Visualization Works to pick a copy up. And the first one is Find Yourself Culture. Find yourself culture. Lean into yourself. And this book is just chock-a-block filled with ways to do that and case studies that you might relate to. So you can really go, am I doing that? Moving from depression and anxiety to monumental self-acceptance. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Ask Victoria is the name of the channel. And I just want to say, I'm going to come at you tomorrow with another juicy topic around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me know the topics you want me to talk about, and I'll look to talk about them. All right? Have a fantastic day.